Hi, I'm Lori and I love books. And today I have the books I read between April and October of 2025, and a lot of them are Alice in Wonderland. They're sorted by type and not by the time I read them, so it's not going to go month to month to month like I usually do. The first book is a library book that I got for the kids at work called Sunflower Lion. It's this beautiful pale yellow. It looks darker on this camera, but it's of a lion going and smelling a flower under the sun, and then it ends with him going back home at the end of the day with his family. The children really loved this page of the whole lion family together. I gave this book 4 stars. And I just thought it was an adorable book. And if I had a lion collection, this would definitely be in my lion collection. The next book I read the next book I'm going to be talking about is The House in the Cerulean Sea. I had this on my TBR for a couple of years. I was really looking forward to it, and it just kind of was okay. Like, I gave it 4 stars again, but I kind of like, it was too grown up for me. Like, everybody was like, you'll love it, you'll love it, you'll love it. And it, like, I didn't get why it had to be so grown up when it could have really been just about the family aspect, the children that are in the orphanage. And it could have, like, the fact that it has such a great title about the location, and yet the location felt like it was hardly part of the story. Like, I really expected the main character, which, Linus, to, yeah, Linus to learn about himself by seeing how the ocean changes during different times of the day, during different times of the year. Like, I really expected the ocean to be a character in the story or very integral to the plot, and it really wasn't. So I wish could give this more. It's a duology, so maybe I'll read the second one. I don't know. This next book is a spiritual book that I started in 2020, and I would start and stop and start and stop, but I finally finished it this year, and it's Whispers and Wildflowers, 30 Days to Slow Your Space and Slow Your Pace, Savor Scripture and Draw Closer to God by Sarah Beth Marr. And so you, like, read some text, and then there's, like, spaces where you could fill in your answers, and it ends each section with a prayer. And so I finished this in June, and I gave it 4 stars. I'm not sure it helped that much. I still feel very anxious, but it was fun to do. I want to take more time for me this year, because I feel like I'm just in 2026, because in 2025 I just felt like I had to keep doing everything for everyone else. This next book is a classic, The Merry Adventures of Robin Hood by Howard Pyle. This had been on my TBR for a couple years. I read it in September. I gave it 3 stars. It was okay. Like, if you like action and fisticuffs, this is a book you might enjoy. But for me, I kind of thought that there would be a huge amount of romance, because in all the movies, it's Robin Hood and Marianne, and she, like, it's a name in the book. It's not even a character. Like, he mentions her name twice, and it just kind of came across as, oh, I have to go wash my hair, or, oh, I have to go call my mom. Like, it didn't come across like she was a real person he was going to go see. It was just an excuse of him getting to excuse himself from a situation. So, not the book for me, but not a bad book. I did find the writing at the very beginning a little difficult to understand. But like, by the 4th or 5th chapter, like, that stopped happening, when it was more about the action and less about the author just kind of describing things. So 3 stars. And then this last book is one from Folio Society, and it's How to See Fairies by let's see, C. Van Sandwyck. And it's a very short book, but very beautiful, with beautiful illustrations of fairies. And I gave it 5 stars. This was just a gorgeous book. I definitely loved it. It's got the gorgeous end pages as well. And it was a delight. Just a pure delight of a book to read. And then it came in the red case, so just it'll look great on my shelf. And then it was also a lot of fun to read, and I do want to start collecting fairies. So now on to the Alice in Wonderland books. The first one I couldn't find on Goodreads. It might be on there, it might not be, but this I got from FAO Schwartz. It's a collection with a bookmark, a pin, a little scroll thing, and then the actual book. And I wasn't sure if I had read this edition or not, so I read it this year. So I didn't give it any stars. I do like having this in my collection. And it was just the words of Alice in Wonderland. There's no pictures or illustrations. There's not really any decorations. But as far as a set goes, I still love it. So I enjoyed this, but it wasn't something that really counted towards my reading goal this year. But at least now I know I read it, so it's not just a decoration anymore. So I had this book originally, and I reread it this year, and it still gave it 4 stars. This is The Walrus and the Carpenter by Lewis Carroll, and this one's illustrated by Jan Breskin-Zalbin. Not sure about that pronunciation. And this book I gave 4 stars. It's got these large, lovely illustrations of the poem The Walrus and the Carpenter from Lewis Carroll. And so I really liked this one that I had, and I saw that there were other editions, and I thought, oh, well, maybe I'll get something else out of them. So I found these 2 used. The mini book I gave 3 stars, and then this big book, it says it's it's illustrated by Julian Doyle, and it says it has other remarkable rhymes. I gave it 4 stars, but it was very similar. There wasn't a whole lot of differences between the 2 of these. There wasn't a lot of differences between the one I already had. So, this is good for my collection, but I can't really say I recommend reading them or adding them to your collection, because I think having just one was more than enough. So then this one, I also got used. I did not get it for $1. That would have been nice. And then I read this in August, and it was 4 stars, and this is Walt Disney's Alice in Wonderland Down the Rabbit Hole, a Lift the Flap Rebus book. And so, there's the picture of the word, clock, and then underneath, oh, it says watch. So that was a watch. But it has those, and then, the pop out. You can see that the pages pop out a little bit. It was a fun book. So, if you're really into pop-up books, I do recommend this. If you love the Disney Alice in Wonderland book, I think it's fun. And this was 4 stars, and a great addition to my collection. This one is another 4 stars, Alice in Wonderland by Disney, with 40 stickers. It's beautiful red. Some of the stickers were used, but there's the stickers, and then this just is a brief introduction to the story, very short version, but very cute. This one is Look and Find Alice in Wonderland, and it says it's from Publications International Limited. It has other stories that are part of this series: A Wizard of Oz, Mother Goose, Heroes and Legends, Peter Rabbit, and Fairy Tales. And this was a fun book. If you like, sort of like Where's Waldo with Alice in Wonderland. It was good. Like, I gave it 4 stars, but it is very comic book-esque and not very Disney. So if you're just like really into the Disney Alice in Wonderland and not anything else, you might not like this, but I really enjoyed it. It was fun to go through once. I don't know that I'll ever reread this, but definitely fun to add to the collection. I also did read my Alice in Wonderland origami book, but I have yet to be able to make an actual origami of Alice in Wonderland yet, so that does that does lessen the number of stars I want to give it, because it's so hard, and I know I'm out of the habit of doing origami. But sorry, I thought the camera had stopped. But it's just, like, I'm going to keep trying, and we'll see. This is Alice's Adventures in Wonderland by Del Yearling, and it's a pop-up book. And this one's more what I think of as a pop-up book, where it's very interactive, and it definitely comes out from the page. And this I gave 4 stars. And it's very inspired by the Tennille drawings from the original. This book I reread for my Wonderland Reads book club. That's on Goodreads, but it's also now on Fable as well. I just joined Fable this month, and so I'm still learning how to figure out using it. This is Jabberwocky, illustrated by Graham Bass, and I gave it 5 stars. And it's just a fun, colorful version of the Jabberwocky poem by Lewis Carroll, where he goes hunting for the Jabberwocky. And they're just these large illustrations showing the journey. It doesn't involve hunting, so if you are against animals being hunted, you might not like that one. And then these are the poetry and chapter books I've read. So Alice in Limerickland, which has this beautiful Cheshire cat on the cover. And then it's a poetry book, and I gave this 3 stars. I was a little disappointed that the poems were just kind of like a retelling of the story by Lewis and Carroll, as opposed to poems inspired by Lewis Carroll, sorry. I probably was singing too much before winter break happened. This is Whatever After, special edition, Abby in Wonderland, and it's by Sarah Milnowski, and it's a Scholastic book. There's a whole series of these, but this was the first one I've read. And Abby goes to stay with a friend while her parents are working and maybe out of town. It's been a while since I've read it. And she's staying with her friend and 2 other friends, and they wind up in Wonderland. But Abby didn't read the story. The person she's like with only read the beginning of the story, so they don't know how Alice in Wonderland is as far as a story, so they're just kind of figuring it out as they go along. And it was a very fun book, and I gave it 3 stars because I just kind of felt it was a little too simplistic, but it was a fun read. This next one is another poetry book, Alice in Verse, The Lost Rhymes of Wonderland by J. Holden, illustrated by Andrew Johnson. And this one, again, was a little disappointing. Like, I really was expecting the poetry books of Wonderland to be very inspirational, very much taking from Wonderland and applying it to their life are very detailed, very just very emotional. I kind of expected to feel things with them, and I just didn't feel that much when I was reading this. So I gave this one 2 stars. So both of those poetry books, I was just kind of like, it wasn't as good as I was expecting. This is my second folio book that I read, and it is Alice in Wonderland. Oops, upside down. By Lewis Carroll. It is this gorgeous red cloth bound book. The end pages, a map of Wonderland, and then little illustrations throughout. And let's see if I can. And then some big illustrations as well. And it was just a gorgeous book to read. And I gave this one 5 stars. I definitely am enjoying the folio books. And then the case is like this grayish green with like a little hint of gold. And then the last 2 books I read were again part of my Wonderland Reads book club. And the first one is Alice Falls Again, and then the second one is Once Upon a Wonderland. And these are both by D.J. Stoneham. This one I started as an audiobook read by the author, which was really fun. But then I loved it so much that I bought both of them. So I had like gotten through half of this and then bought both of them. That's how good I thought. This one does have some violence in it. Well, they both kind of do. I thought this one was more violent than the Once Upon a Wonderland. This is Alice visits Wonderland for the 3rd time, and then there are nursery rhymes that are in Wonderland that aren't supposed to be there, and then Once Upon a Wonderland is the 4th time Alice goes in, and she has to save herself, but she's also trying to save somebody she met the 3rd time she was there, and it just, I loved both of them, but this one I gave 4 stars to, and then this one I gave 5 stars to. Oh. Sorry, it's saying battery saver needs to go on. That's okay. I'm done. Those were the books I read between April and October. Let me know in the comments below what you thought of these books. Did you have any of these Alice in Wonderland books? Do you have a favorite Alice in Wonderland book that you think I would love? Let me know in the comments below. Like and subscribe. And until next time, have a lovely time reading. Bye!